Hello, darling. What say you and I abscond back up to our hotel room? We shall discuss the finer virtues of feminism while furiously jumping each other's bones.
Oh.
And today we have Poor Things. Not gonna lie, easy contender for, at the very least, top 3 of the year, I think. I think as more people are seeing it, it's getting more traction and the word is spreading more and more, but I would see the trailer most often at my local art house cinema, so I know that for sure on the indie circuit it's everywhere. It currently has a release in select cities and select areas, hence the art house theater, but is soon about to get more national distribution. For those that don't know, Poor Things is the newest film directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, Greek gentleman, film director over here, who, funny enough, I actually am kind of familiar with his body of work, most known for. So there's like a key 3, and I've seen one of these and I liked it a lot. He's known for The Favorite, Killing of a Sacred Deer, which is supposed to, again, has my boy Barry Keoghan, as well as Colin Farrell, and is supposed to be quite a messed up film. And the one that I have seen, which I remember I didn't love it, but I really enjoyed it, but that's The Lobster. So The Lobster was really good. I enjoyed that one. His films typically have a common theme of quirky, interesting, weird, almost like dystopian story of sorts, but more often than not, they also offer like societal commentary on just us, or relationships, or human culture and our flaws and shortcomings. In terms of the cast, a lot of great people, a lot of great players, but the 3 main ones I want to give shout outs to, which Emma Stone, she is our leading lady, and boy, what an interesting performance that, even according to her in some interviews, was kind of difficult at first for her to wrap her head around. We have Mark Ruffalo in probably one of my favorite roles of his, honestly, and he said it himself in interviews, like he doesn't get to often play this kind of character in films. He's kind of typecast as an Avenger because he's, you know, our Hulk right now. He's been in other serious, more dramatic pieces, but he's often either the comedic relief or he's like a straight man. He's like, and by that I mean like he's a force of good, as opposed to kind of what he is in this film. And then we have, I mean, come on, you gotta, if you don't know him, then you better Google his ass, but Willem Dafoe, God, do I love, everybody loves Willem Dafoe. I've never heard anybody say they didn't like Willem Dafoe, but pours everything into a performance when he gives it. And also, little side shout out though, Christopher Abbott, I see you. My boy from Possessor, I see you. You were also in this movie. That was a fun little thing. Sometimes I do this for certain movies, especially if it's a movie that I very much enjoyed. I normally have notes kind of breaking down beat by beat, but this is one of those cases where I'm just going to kind of speak from the heart, as if you were to walk up to me and say, hey, what'd you think about this? Did you watch the movie? I absolutely loved this movie, so much so that I've already seen it twice in theaters. I very much would be down to see it again, and this is an easy contender for, I already mentioned the top 3 of the year, but I'm putting together the list right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is like, you know, maybe number 1, who knows, but yeah, along the short of it, and I will not spoil this movie at all, which is just, unless a movie is complete dog water and just ass, I typically don't talk about I won't talk about the plot points, because if it's a good movie especially, I want you to go in and have the experience be as fresh and unspoiled and as pure as possible. Essentially, Poor Things, Emma plays a character who is kind of an experiment. Basically, this woman who has been brought to life by Willem Dafoe's character, who, you know, borderline mad scientist, but more or less a doctor who knows his way around the human anatomy. But in doing so, she has a more infantile, fresh mind. It's like she's a creation, right? So wasn't born the way that we were born. It's like being slapped into a new reality with an infant's mind and a just already grown and matured body. Now, with the trailers, I was already in, because anytime that a movie is weird and artistic but seems to have a chord with a deeper meaning to it. That's what is gonna definitely grab my attention. Usually the weirder the better, especially if the weirder is grounded in some impeccable writing and some hard truths about reality and some soul searching, the usual formulas, you know. It's about Emma Stone's character, Bella Baxter, on her journey through this world. She's speedrunning life in a way. She's having to grow into this body and just kind of observe the world around her through a completely fresh, relatively naive set of eyes, and just try to absorb it all and figure out her way and discover what all there is to be discovered, the good, the bad, the ugly, and meet a cast of interesting characters, both good and bad, along the way. But it's done so in just such a beautiful way. It's almost hard to put into words. I mean, where do you start with a film like this? Fantastic direction, and cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. This world is almost like we're back in time, but it's like a steampunk dystopian society and world where things aren't spelled out, but due to how the world is designed, the concepts in our technology society, it practically mirrors our world, but with other influences as well, and with differentials regarding culture and certain technology and all that. So it's more like Uncanny Valley. I mean, the skies in this movie are definitely much more beautiful than the ones of Earth. All these beautiful shades of different colors and watercolors, basically, and swirling clouds, and these grand buildings with cool architecture and murals and flooring. Maybe that's just how it is outside of the US, because US is pretty boring. It's like a stark contrast. The director also frequently uses, it's almost like a fisheye lens on a scale of intensity, because the whole film isn't shot with a fisheye lens. A lot of shots, you know, they differ and vary, and the director showcases a variety of different like angles and techniques and lenses, but when he does incorporate fisheye, it's used effectively throughout many moments of the film and adds to that scene and makes it unique, or almost like a pinhole, like looking through, peering into this world that that Bella's discovering in a way. The music, oh my god. The soundtrack for this film is such a unique banger. It's a bop. What they use in the soundtrack in terms of musical instruments or otherwise, or like sound effects, or the way it's such an unconventional soundtrack, and yet it works so well within the confines and context of the film. It enhances the scenes, or brings in the horror of certain moments, the mystery, or the humor, the romance, or the joyous nature of a creature, of this woman like discovering something for the first time, and just like it can be whimsical, it can be dark and brooding. It goes the whole spectrum of emotion here. As I'm sure you've no doubt gathered, the acting is also great. Performances across the board. Most impressive. This might be my favorite performance of Emma Stone's to date. I don't mean to hop on the hype bandwagon here, but I mean to play someone who is like a full-grown adult, but also is like juvenile and like learning slowly, bit at a time, to be able to do that so well and not be cringe or awkward or ham it up is brilliant. I particularly enjoyed, and this is not only thanks to her and her performance, but also I believe the writing, which the writing in this film, by the way, killer as well. We'll get to that, but how her language evolves over the course of the film, and how it goes from disjointed, like a child just learning how to string together words, to like being able to speak so, like, you know, gradually over a course of time, speak more and more eloquently and be able to string better sentences together and have more syntax. And again, it works so well. Like I said, the writing in this movie is beautiful. This film is able to take us through all these philosophical questions of what it means to exist. I always love films that do that, where like what it means to be alive, the good, the bad in the world, what the point of living is, what is there to enjoy, the ups, the downs, and we tackle all of that because our character goes through the whole spectrum of emotion, from happiness and excitement to disappointment and despair. It's all tackled, and it's all done through these brilliantly written scenes where she interacts with other characters she meets throughout the film that all kind of lend their perspectives in life, which is what we all do as humans. That's the lived experience, is that we have our experience, and then we also like we share it with other people's. But I'm getting caught up in the minutia and the little details of all this. But these late year-end films that are all stacking up now, I'm like at a loss for critique, right? For my personal opinion, I like no notes. Like there is not really anything I would do differently with this film. It's excellently paced, even though it's over 2 hours. I want to say it's like a 2 hour, 10-minute film, but I enjoyed it just as much, if not more, the second time I saw it. I'll probably love it again the third time, but it just goes by and is well paced. It's being able to see somebody from such a unique perspective as hers, like experience and figure out, circumnavigate the world that she's exposed to. And I think my favorite aspect of the film is that she's developing and learning, but the whole concept is like it's a woman who, funny enough, it took a literal crazy mad scientist experiment to give us a woman who is free from the constraints of reality and what it does to somebody. It's also discussed heavily in the Barbie movie. There's like the societal expectations that are put on women. And when she's first born into this world, she's just kind of very blunt and just speaking. She's just speaking her opinion, what she sees, what she wants to do, what she likes, doesn't like, etc. Just because she, I don't want to say she doesn't know any better, but she doesn't have any societal pressures or like learned expectations or anything. But my favorite aspect of it is that as she learns more and grows, she still does that, not out of naivete, but out of just, her own intelligence and wanton will. It's even as she's learned what is societally not really accepted regarding women and free speech and different concepts and all that, she still does it. She does it more for just pure communication. It's great. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of haters out there, because again, when I reviewed the Barbie movie, there were one or two guys that weren't quite fond of what I had to say. I get that, but I am pro-feminism, and in that, and somebody put it really well in a speaking introduction I saw for Little Women the other day. We went to go see that at our art house cinema, and this gal got up there and basically said, feminism is not anti-men. It is merely trying to give women agency and help them with their purpose and self-respect. And this is the way society is. It's not equal. We all know this. Men, women, it's the whole, it's just, if you can't see and accept that, then arguably you're part of the problem. But this film has commentary like that, but it delves into toxic masculinity and how a woman like Bella can both intrigue but also threaten men due to her own free will and her own extreme sense of self-agency and preservation and everything. But this works because it is so well done, so well written. You never feel like anybody's getting up on a soapbox, and you never feel like it's ham-fisted into the dialogue. It's all done through excellently written dialogue, and it works, and it's diegetic to the narrative, and all the more reason why I love this movie. I couldn't recommend it enough. It's a perfect film in my mind. I don't really think it did anything wrong. Admittedly, and this could be a conversation for another time, is potentially some moral gray area regarding Bella and how she came to be. And you watch the movie, you might have an opinion on it. I think it's safe to say that the potential moral dilemma that could be argued in this film, I think it's not a problem, due to more information we get from the film regarding her process. I just being super vague about it because I don't want to spoil anything again, but that's the only possible detraction I can think of from the film, is that you could say, oh, this film has some subject material. There's a lot of sex in the movie though. A lot of sex, a lot of nudity, a lot of swearing. It's a hard R for sure. Anyway, I'll stop prattling on. It's a perfect film all the way across. Easily give it a 5 out of 5. For sure, 5 out of 5. Again, it's going to be up there in the top ones for the year. I don't know exactly where that's going to land it, but I mean, we'll see. But go see it. It's going to be, like I said, in more theaters very soon. I don't know when I'm getting this review up, but I had to say something, get my opinion out there, and just seeing its praises. But again, across the board, direction, cinematography, writing, acting, the visuals of it, the music of it, the heart and soul of it, the core of it, it all is just it's a beautiful, weird, quirky film. Anyway, that's all I gotta say about Poor Things. Thank you guys and gals so much for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode of whatever review I do next. I still have some catching up to do. Goodbye, travelers.